Imagine you are a business owner. You're a farmer and you have a magnolia tree farm. You're in Orlando, Florida, lots and lots of acres, lots of these trees, right? You have farmers, you have many, many farmers that work for you. All day they're in the field pulling these branches and making these beautiful wreaths, planting trees. You don't really know a lot about SEO or PPC or websites or whatever. You just know that you trust someone like me so there's more sales.
Hi there.
How are you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. Greetings from Costa Rica.
You're in Costa Rica?
On vacation today. Yeah, a few days in Costa Rica.
Wow. And you talking to me on your vacation?
Oh, well, why not? I like SEMrush.
All right. Yeah, then double thank you for joining the call, even on vacation. We're gonna have the vacation the day after tomorrow. Is gonna be public holiday for like 2 weeks.
Okay.
Uh, Okay, so yeah, so the purpose of this call is basically talking about the authority score. So we planning to launch a pretty massive campaign around improving the score, about creating new formula and creating other stuff. So yeah, before that, I have received your feedback on authority score. You kind of disagree on how it's calculated. So yeah, I want to hear what you think. Like, what are the weak points of the score? Probably, what do you like more about the competitors? I think it's reserved for an hour, but it might be a little bit more quicker, I guess. Not
Oh, good.
that long. So don't worry. I'm not gonna steal that much of your time. Okay, so yeah, let's start with some general question. Can you just tell me a few words about the scores in general? Like, how do you use them? How often? How important that's for you? So things like that.
For authority score?
If you use any other scores, that's fine. If you're gonna talk about the competitors, so I just want to know, like, in
Yeah.
globally, how do you use any scores? You know?
It's a first initial metric to get a sense of whether a company even is in existence. So if a company is, doing reasonably well, then we know that their DA or AS or DR is going to be, 30 plus, 50 plus, depending on what kind of category they are. And there's a lot of companies that want to work with us, a lot of potential clients, a lot of partners, a lot of conferences that want us to speak at, a lot of, bloggers or whoever. And I find it's a good measure of just general traffic and whether they're existing. Like, do they exist? Because if you don't have any links coming in, then you can't have an authority score or domain rank or domain authority. So that's just the main thing to see, are they credible? But what's really powerful is that when they're a client or they're a partner, or we're already working with them, or we're further along in the path, then I like to look at how many keywords they have ranking. Because I find the number of keywords they have is much more powerful as indicative of the SEO power. Because we'll see, I have a friend who has a lawyer website. He's a well-known personal injury attorney. He does $100 million a year. And his domain rating is, Ahrefs is maybe like 20, and authority score, maybe 15 or 20, but he ranks on several thousand high power keywords that make a lot of money. So obviously, authority score and the number of keywords you have is not necessarily correlated. And I do like the Ahrefs numbers better because they rank me higher. Like my main site, Blitzmetrics, is DR 63, and I think it's only like a 40 authority score in SEMrush. And even with the change with SEMrush getting more links, or having the links, more updated in real time, that hasn't really changed at all. And the number of links that are being reported don't appear to be higher, even though it's supposed to be. That they don't appear to be higher on SEMrush versus Ahrefs. And also, I like looking at these different authority scores right away, very quickly. So I primarily use the Ahrefs toolbar to get them, because it's just so much faster, so much easier. Because I do a lot of live auditing, right? I do a lot of coaching. We'll have a webinar, we'll have, a few hundred people that are attending. And it's just easier while I'm looking at people's websites to pull the authority score to see the keywords they rank on using the toolbar. as opposed to having to go to SEMrush and log in and run a report and then go to the website, then go back to SEMrush each time I want to look at something. So it would be nice to know a little bit more about authority score. And even though I know it's on a logarithmic scale, because that's what SEO Moz did, maybe 15 plus years ago, because they were the ones who originally did it, the whole Moz rank, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that, a site that is a 50 is not just slightly weaker than a 60. It's not just slightly weaker than a 70. There's an order of magnitude. So if we had a better sense of that, because clients don't understand that, team members don't understand that. So the fact that, my main site is a 63, it's pretty good, right? Or one of the sites we own that has 1 million organic visitors a month, just from purely from SEO, just freeebooks.net. That one has a domain rating of 73, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it ranks on lots of keywords, right? Obviously, you type in free ebooks, you see we're number 1, right? So we get a lot of traffic off of those related terms. So yeah, it'd be nice if I could get it in the toolbar so I don't have to use Ahrefs, because, being on the SEMrush advisory board, I would like to use SEMrush when I can, but sometimes, it's just not there. I use the SEO Quake plugin too, which gives me,
there should be that authority score in there.
yeah, but it's harder to use.
Mm-hmm.
And it's limited, and it just doesn't have as much data, and it's not as useful, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sorry, you have mentioned the website of some kind of lawyer, and you said that the authority score is on 20. Can you remember the domain name?
Oh, let me see. There's a few of them that I look at. We work with a lot of lawyers. Let's see if we change it to ceolawyer.com. Let me see. He rebranded. Let's see if we can find it. Actually, this is not as strong. This is only ranking on 16 keywords. Hang on. He ranks on so many powerful keywords. And it's weird because he has 17,000 backlinks, according to Ahrefs, and he's 2,000 keywords. So it doesn't make the authority score. Let me look at him in SEMrush, because Ahrefs says it's 11. Yeah, Ahrefs says it's 11. What is oh shoot, SEMrush says 38. Okay, it's interesting because here I'll share my screen. So Ahrefs says 11 and 2,500 keywords. Which of course I can click on, see what all these are. I love this toolbar, it's so good. And then here, it says only 1,300 keywords. So I'm wondering why is that? We should have more. We should have more on SEMrush. SEMrush is a better tool, better, all the updates with more data and, this kind of thing, right?
I just don't know, like from the toolbar, like that's the number of keywords they rank for in US or what database?
I think it's worldwide. Let's see.
It's United States. 2.5K. All right.
Yeah, so I like to, obviously working with clients, I'd like to show them the bigger number, the more impressive number.
Yeah.
It's always better to show. I'd rather show them that than show them 1,300, right?
Get it. Okay, so if we just gonna for a second stick to the authority score. So have I heard you correctly that you basically use it to estimate like how powerful this website is, but not only in terms of the link building, in any term, right? So if you're gonna have a new client on board, if you're gonna have some partnership with a blogger, or you have some kind of conference stuff like that, so you're gonna use it in any ways, right?
It's the initial measure of credibility. It's like a handshake, but after that, if you want to go deeper, I mean, just the very first thing I look at, right? It's like looking at someone's LinkedIn profile, but after that, it doesn't really matter, because then what's more interesting is, who's linking to them, how much traffic they actually have, who their people are, what keywords they have, are they running PPC, do they have good campaigns, do we have a lot of friends in common, all these things that are past the very first thing that we look at. So after that, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, and you also talked about the number of keywords. So, and I guess you were surprised that the number of keywords is high, and though the authority score is low. So, do you think they should correlate? like the score, any score, and the organic traffic, or those metrics
Yeah.
should be, not
I
connected?
think so. I mean, you would think generally the more power the website has, the more juice it has, the more it can rank on keywords. But obviously, some keywords are less competitive, right? Or they could have built a lot of links from just low quality sites that still calculate a high score, but Google doesn't really respect, right? Um, when I built the analytics at Yahoo 20 years ago, our team put in place different measures to basically de-weight links that were purchased from websites that had high Moz rank or high scores. So the internal rating that my team had at Yahoo that we created, we would not share that with anyone else because all the SEOs are trying to trick us, right?
Of course. Okay. Let's then just go through some other questions. Let me just find that. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, let's talk about competitors. So you told me that Ahrefs is the one you prefer, right? Not Moz.
Yeah. I mean, Moz, 10, 15 years ago, because they were the initial ones. Brand Fishkin had the best SEO training, but he didn't have the best tool.
But can you be a bit more specific? Why exactly Ahrefs? Like just before you trust them, or there's anything really specific you love about the score? I mean,
I can get to it very easily while I'm on a website. It's that simple, right? I want to look at it while I'm on a website. If I have to go to SEMrush, if I have to go to another site, that's more friction, right?
Okay.
Especially if I'm looking at lots of websites all day. I don't want to constantly have to go to another tab. I want to be able to look at it as I'm browsing the site and not have to switch.
Okay, so there's nothing really specific about the score. It's just how you get used to it, how it's like easier for you to surf through the.
Well, so one is ease of use, and the second one is that the Ahrefs authority score seems to be higher on most of my own sites are higher.
Okay, so yeah, I understand. As an agency, you love the scores being a bit higher than from competitors, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and if let's just imagine some ideal metric, what would you wish to include in it? Like what you missing in their scores? Like some specific situation where you think the score should be higher, or exact situation where they should be less. Do you have any thoughts? How would you improve the current scores?
Well, the score is just a number, right? So I'd love to see what the underlying attributes are that contribute to that score. I'd love to see, if there's certain sites or certain industries that are a great component, right? Because you could get a score through lots of little links or a few really big links. That's not really easily apparent, and obviously we can get to that, but it's not as obvious to get to. It's not easy to get to. If there's a correlation between the paid side and the organic side, because there's some folks who they use paid as a way to fill in the gaps where they don't rank organically. So the authority score doesn't really, the authority score only tells me organic. So maybe if there's like a score that went across, because social media is so big, right? Social media is now bigger than search. As you probably know, TikTok is bigger than Google now, right? In terms of traffic, right? So it'd be nice to have some kind of comparative metric, maybe like a social score instead of just the SEO score, or a larger composite score.
Okay.
And SEO is very important. I've been doing SEO for over 20 years. I built the analytics at a search engine, if you remember. So I've always I believe in SEO, but now there's, most SEO people aren't doing just SEO. They have to take into, it used to be that the website, 15 years ago, it was just websites. We didn't have social media, we didn't have email, we didn't have texting. And now that these other channels are bigger than search, we can't ignore them. But I
I
understand if
see.
bringing in only linked data, then you're stuck with only SEO data.
Yeah. So but if we're gonna speak only about organic search, so you told me that I like how you told that Fourier score is like a handshake, right? So that's the first thing you see, and what would be then the next steps? So imagine you're just looking into some website, you see that Fourier score, I don't know, 40, whatever. So what other like three next steps you're gonna look at?
Well, then I see what are the keywords they link on, or they get links to, where they rank on. I want to see what the top inbound links are because it gives me a sense of what content they're creating and where are they guest blogging? Are they on the podcast? Are they mentioned in the major news somewhere? So it gives me a sense of, because if I see what those items are, it gives me, you know, that those are the contributing factors for that high authority score, right? Some people do it just off of buying paid placements on, you know, Forbes and Inc. and Entrepreneur, which is garbage, right? Or they just buy links on other people's websites, and other people, they get it because, like me, they're in the New York Times, they're on CNN, they're in the Wall Street Journal, they're in major, they're featured in major media. So there's different ways. Like you know, for me to have a 62 or 63, there's many ways to get there. So the majority of my score comes from being on major media that you can't buy, right? So some of the top 50 websites on the planet where they interview me, that's not something you can buy, right? So I'd like to see that, because if they do, then that's a good sign we can create more content, as opposed to they launched a contest with bloggers to link to them, or, you know, all the sort of trickier ways to do SEO. Yeah, so link quality, because when I see where their top links are, and I see the content that they have, and I see what those sites are, it gives me a sense of who is in their ecosystem. It gives me a sense of what I can optimize. Maybe I can get more of the same thing. Maybe if I see that they have a contributor account on, you know, business.com or something, or a high power site they can blog more at, or we can modify the links there, or they have other sites that are partners that they link to each other, like a personal injury attorney links to a chiropractor and vice versa, because they go together, right? These are two kinds of businesses that work together. Then that's a really good sign, because it shows me I can scale what's already there. But mainly I'm looking at the website. And, you know, the SEO metrics are nice, but without the context of looking at the website, looking at the actual articles that link in, looking at their social media, and seeing how much traffic and engagement they have, the SEO metrics are nice, but I have to do them in conjunction with actually what users are doing. I can't rely on SEO metrics alone, because there's this, you know, there's the quantitative and the qualitative side. I need to see both.
Okay, yeah, it kind of makes sense that basically just SEO itself doesn't make sense anymore. Like you have to combine it with the paid, with the social. That's how it is gonna work. Yeah.
And then I go immediately to the landing page. I want to see, how do they make money? Do they make money because, like my friend, he sells organic chocolate that's sugar-free, right? For people that do keto, for people that don't want sugar, right? And he has a very tight audience of people who don't want sugar, but they want high quality gourmet chocolate. It's very expensive, right? I look at the landing page. I see how it talks about his story and how this is made from the highest quality organic materials. I look at the testimonials, then I see the purchase. Oh, you can buy one of them for $79. You can buy, you know, X number of them. I want to see what that purchasing experience is, because that tells me something about what a user is worth. Tells me like how the traffic comes in, because SEO tells me how the traffic comes in. But then I need to see, okay, so great, they rank on this keyword, but then is that keyword valuable? Meaning, is there traffic against it? And then can I convert that into sales, right? So the lawyer, see, I just showed you the lawyer, he's got 2,100 keywords, which is great. It could be 2,100 garbage keywords or 2,100, you know, good keywords, but he ranks on some really good keywords like Uber accident. So if you get in an accident on the Uber and he's ranking #1, he's making $100 million a year off of this, right? So even if he ranked on only 3 keywords, and that first one is Uber accident attorney, you rank #1. That's worth That's worth hundreds of times more, thousands of times more than like random things like what should I do if I'm in an injury, how should like, random lawyer, what happens if the police pull me over? Like that's not as valuable as Uber accident lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
because we see how much traffic is coming from that. We see in the Google Analytics, we see what the conversion rate is. We see how many phone calls there are. We see, all the traffic. So it's great to rank on something, and it's great even if there's a lot of traffic on that keyword. But I need to see it turn into sales, because if I can't
Mm-hmm.
track it all the way through to sales, then how do I justify my value, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do I make recommendations? Because I could say you could move from 2,000 keywords to 3,000 keywords, or I could raise your, domain rating or authority score from 30 to 40. So what? Like the business owner is going to say, okay, how many more lawyers, law inquiries, how much more chocolate am I going to sell, right? All of them,
Mm-hmm.
the people that we talk to are the business owner, and they don't really care about the SEO metrics. Like we could print out a big report and send it to them. They just want to know, are you increasing our sales, right? I have another one that's a featured client. We show their analytics and their SEO and all of this, and they do pretty well on SEO. It's called Seeds of Life.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if a loved one dies, or maybe your pet dies, and you want to plant a tree in their honor, right? So you come to the site Seeds of Life, and you see these people that have their stories. I planted this tree 20 years ago, and now we remember Grandpa, and they have all these great stories. And probably half of our traffic comes from SEO. So we do $2.5 million a year just off of this, right? It's great, right? We rank on keywords like magnolia tree. We rank on gift for loved one, or in memorial gifts, gifts in bereavement, when loved one dies, all these keywords, we rank on that. And what we've done in the last 2 years, because we took it from 1.1 million to $2.5 million a year in sales off of SEO mainly. What we did was we were able to improve the SEO almost very little. I mean, we didn't really get much more links. We lost a bunch of links too. But the way we got the increase was we improved the experience on the landing page.
Mm-hmm.
We added more reviews. We started running ads. We did a lot of remarketing. So when people came in, then we remarketed. So they come back. Because people, when they shop, they're going to look at lots of places before they decide. They have to consult the other friends, who they're going to buy from. So all those other factors related to conversion and traffic, I believe, are actually more important than the SEO. Because the SEO just gets the person there. Of course, SEO is good because you don't have to pay to get them there, but we find it's best to test on the PPC side, to bring them in first and then try to SEO for those keywords once we've rented them from Google by paying for them initially. But then once we get them there, we need to see that we can drive a sale, or at least collect an email, because maybe the email on Seeds of Life is 7 unique things that you can do to honor when your dog dies, right? And here's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then number 6 or 7 is, you can plant a tree in their memory and then put the ashes there. Like, oh, okay, right? So we want to track the whole user experience beyond just someone typed into Google and then they came to our website. So the SEO tool is good for this one piece, but I want to see the whole journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense to me. And just speaking about the reporting, that's interesting stuff. So when you do the reporting to a client, you told me they do not usually care about the links, about the authority score. So what do you report to them? Like the number of purchases?
And this is true for the lawyer. This is true for the real estate agent. This is true for e-commerce. This is true, the chocolate person. All these are clients of ours, right? The business owner, what do you think they care about? They want to maximize profit, right? So they increase profit, increase sales. So we report on what is our sales and what is our ROAS, right? So if we went last year from 1.1 million to 2.5 million, that's a nice increase, right? It's more than double. But how much more money did we spend? And how much of it came from SEO? How much of it came from our PPC efforts? So it's always a matter of, it's the business metric. The most important thing to measure is revenue, and then ROAS, which is kind of a measure of cost of sales, right? ROAS tends to be more of a paid metric, but we can just as easily say, what is our conversion rate, or what is our margin, or what is our gross profit? So we always start, I've learned this over the last 30 years, but always start with the business metrics. And then below that, we have the diagnostic metrics. So diagnostic metrics are secondary troubleshooting metrics, such as cost per click, and how much traffic there is, and what our conversion rate is, and authority score, and inbound links, and how many blog posts we made, and all these activity metrics. But if we were to do across all of our clients, I mean, some of them, we had the Golden State Warriors, which is a basketball team, for 5.5 years, or Red Bull or Nike or guys like that. If we just sent them an SEO report, they'd say, what is this? So what? And this is true even when we're working with a large team where there's a whole SEO team or whole PPC team, because whatever report we make internally eventually has to get sent to whoever the big boss is. And the big boss cares about the financial number, right? So if we could, if we said this month, Ilya, this month, look at our SEO report. Wow, way more links, authority scores way up, way more, content, way more pages indexed, way more site loads faster, all this, but our sales went down, what would they think?
Yeah, of course, they're not gonna care about
The only time they care about what we like is when we just send the report, the numbers are up, we're making more sales, numbers are up, they don't look at anything, right? What's bad is if the numbers are down, then they ask questions. Then they have a lot of questions to ask. Then they want to say, oh, what happened to the links here? What happened to the traffic here? What happened? So we do not want to have this detailed report with lots of detailed discussion, because having that discussion means that something is wrong, because they don't want to spend time investigating, trying to figure out what's going on. The people that we deal with, we're business owners. They just want to know the business is growing. If the business is growing, great. If you want to send me the report, great. But I only want to see the top numbers.
I see. Yeah. So yeah, I just my thought was if you're showing the authority score to a client, how you explain it to them. But as far as I hear from you, you're not even show that authority score to the client.
No, I mean, we'll show them just out of curiosity, right? We'll say, hey, it's a measure of how much link juice you have. And so I'll use the analogy of these buckets of water. And some buckets are very small. Some of them are the swimming pool. Some of them are tiny little tequila shots. And the more links we have, the more juice we have. So us, as trying to increase your sales, part of what we're doing is we're buying the keywords on Google, but we're also trying to get the keywords for free. So the more we have linking, the more we can get it for free. And we get it for free from a lot of social media, but we can also pay on social media. So I will explain, hey, when this number goes up, when we have more authority score, that gives us more juice that we can use towards it's like a number of credits we can use towards purchasing some keywords. And maybe some keywords are so expensive we don't have enough credits to be able to, even if we put all of our juice against this big keyword, we don't have enough. And a lot of the clients, the most common time we show authority score is, hey, we looked at your website, you have 0, right? Well, what does that mean? It means nobody's linked to you. It means that Google doesn't think you have any sort of power. So you could blog all day long. Doesn't matter, because you have no one's linking to you. So chicken and the egg is you have to create content to be able to generate links, but you generate links through your content. So a lot of we see these people, they'll say, oh, Gary Vaynerchuk said I need to make 100 posts or 100 videos or 100, guest blog posts or whatever. And so we see these people at their website and they have no traffic. And because we look in the Google Analytics, we say no traffic and your authority score is 0. You say, yeah, but I did what Gary Vaynerchuk said. I made all these links. Yes, but you have no traffic because you didn't have any links, and the links are not from websites that have a lot of traffic. Here's a couple places that we could put articles to get some traffic, because ultimately it goes back to traffic and then conversion, right? So no authority score probably means 0 SEO traffic, but we verify that in the Google Analytics.
Okay, so you would be surprised if you're gonna see the high authority score and 0 organic traffic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, for the future, like if that's a good idea to kind of include that as one of the points if the authority score. to have a look at the SERP and see like if they present it on SERP and train our model against that presence. So like if I hear from you well, like that makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So because basically, I just want to point it out that authority score for you is not only about the links, it's basically more about your chances of ranking in Google, about the chances of getting more traffic.
Yeah.
Not solely about links, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This
Okay.
also depends on the topic too, because like if you like some of my sites have a high authority score, but I talk about so many different topics that I'm not focused on one main one that is worth a lot of money, you know?
Also, just to change the probably topic just a little bit. So when you deal with link building, are you afraid of getting the link that is spammy or it's kind of scam? So is that your case, and how do you prevent that? How would you
Yeah,
know that?
yeah, if they don't have an authority score of at least 20 or 30, then that's probably not a reputable site. We do, of course, looked at the toxic link reports. We submit the disavow, right? We see a lot of clients for some reason they're getting a lot of these, so we don't want to be submitting disavows all the time. But I'm not too worried about that. I mean, we see clients that they have a ton of spammy links, but it doesn't seem to hurt us too bad in Google. But we do the disavow anyway, just because we want to clear all the warnings there in the report, because the system, sends a report all the time.
So yeah, I get you don't care about the existing bad links, but like my question was, so imagine there is a website with a 40 score, I don't know, 30, but as far as I just had my research, some of them are still kind of spammy. They
Oh
automatically generated, they kind of link farms.
yeah, that is important. You're right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because we see that we're going to see, looking at their link profile, if they're selling links because they have so many random things in the footer or all these fake blog posts or things. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Google could see that, so we do care about that. Yeah, but it's not because they show up as a spammy domain. It's because they're not even good partners to begin with, right? They're just not even they're not even a reputable. It's not because of their SEO tricks. The SEO tricks are because their business model. We work with major conferences or well-known people or people, well-known groups and organizations. Like you'll see that I'm on the SEM Rush blog, right? There's a bunch of things but I'm not worried about that, because like it would never get to the point of I'm worrying about spammy links, because we only work with organizations and people that are already reputable. So this would never happen, right?
Okay, so this is not really the problem for you, right? Because you're really so much on the top, right? So you don't need to deal.
A lot of these SEO people are out there hunting for websites and hunting for links and hunting for whatever it is, which I understand, but we're not out there hunting. We know who the people are, and they work closely with us to create training, and we're on their podcast, and then we say, wow, we should create a blog post and put that on your website. Oh, you know what? You should submit a blog post to us. So a lot of this is based on relationships, not based on some SEO link outreach person using a tool trying to figure out how to do link outreach, right?
Okay. So you kind of have a different model. You're not really do the outreach, right? So you're not sending the emails, not buying.
Now we don't do that at all. Maybe we should, but I've gone through this almost 30 years and haven't done it once.
You mean you don't do that for the clients, or you do not do that for your website?
We don't do it for the clients or for us. Because we tell the clients, hey, what conferences have you spoken at? Where have you given a guest blog post? Where have you been on someone else's podcast? Who are folks that you work with that are well known? Do you have a relationship with, whoever it is? Like, who are the people that are in your circle? And then reach out to them saying, hey, I love what you're doing so much. I would like to invite you to be on my podcast. And they interview them for 15 minutes. We say, wow, Ilya, it was such a good time we had together. I would love to share the top 3 things I learned from Ilya about SEO and put it on your site. What do you think? right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's our way of doing links. It's an extension of relationships, extension
I
of
see.
social media, extension of meeting people, right?
But you kind of talking about your agency, which is well known, and people know you, and they want you to be on the
Yeah.
podcast. But if we talk about your clients, I mean, just the chocolate guy, right? I don't think he's super famous, and everyone want them to be on a podcast, starting with the interview. So if you need to get some new links for them, what would you do for
So we
that
do it
chocolate?
through influencers. So he has tens of thousands of very happy customers. And so we
Mm-hmm.
feature these customers and we bring them
Mm-hmm.
onto, onto a little Zoom and we say, hey, tell me about, how you work out. Oh, well, the way I work out is I eat this kind of food. And I also like to eat this kind of chocolate too, because it's guilt-free. And now look, I have really big muscles, right? And some of these people, some of these influencers have hundreds of thousands who are actual customers, not because they're selling reputation, but they're actual customers who are buying the product. And we want to just elevate them and we want to, say how good they are. Like one of the clients we have is Escape Fitness. So they're one
Mm-hmm.
of the large, you may know in Europe, they're huge, right? They
Mm-hmm.
sell a lot of gym equipment. And the CEO, he interviews the heads of all the big gyms. He interviews the Olympic athletes. He interviews all these other sorts of people. And it's called Escape Your Limits is the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so because he knows all these other people in the industry, it's easy for him to, I mean, really it's about podcast production, all this. And then we get that company to link, or that athlete or whoever to link back.
Mm-hmm.
So same is true, like the lawyer, like why would the personal injury lawyer care? Well, he's going to talk about, here's what you do when you're in a accident. And he's going to share that with other people. He's going to share that with the chiropractor. He's going to share it with other doctors. And the doctor's going to say, hey, this is how, you make sure the insurance company doesn't screw you over. And then there's a lot of social media, and the social media generates local news coverage. So in the local hometown would be, oh, so-and-so got in an accident and he lost his leg. But now he was able to heal and now he's got his job back. And now like the local news loves telling good stories like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of our approach of doing this. It's not link outreach, but it's outreach via social. It's outreach by, we use, the dollar a day technique, which is what we're famous for, which is highlighting good stories, which then cause the press to reach out to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So basically you focus on the creating the good content, not
Yeah.
like getting the links. Okay,
That's right.
I see. Okay, makes sense. Probably just one last question before
Yeah.
you're gonna continue enjoying your vacation. Probably you have some major requests about like some SEMrush new features. So it's just like a very broad question, I know, but probably you have something on your mind you always wanted to share. Just hit me with that.
Yeah. I would love for there to be well, first off, the toolbar. I would like the toolbar,
Mm-hmm.
like Ahrefs. I know there's an agency dashboard, but I would like it to where there could be triggered alerts that were sent in the name of the agency to the client. So doing the work of our analysts and our specialists as if, like imagine, you're the client, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm the one servicing you from the agency. And I'm supposed to be watching over your site, watching over your ads, watching over your analytics, building links, all of these kinds of things to help you sell more chocolates, right? So ilyaschocolateFactory.com,
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'm busy across so many other clients or whatever it is that I probably don't give you enough attention. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd be nice if the system could send out these reports saying, hey, Dennis here, I noticed, here's a couple things. And I thought maybe you would like this. Here's a couple things that are really good. Here's a couple things that are opportunities. And I know you kind of have that, like the link opportunities and other kinds of things, but something to make it seem like it's a personalized message from me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I care, right? But automated. Or maybe, it's automated, but then I have a chance I can add in a couple comments. But if I don't add in a couple comments, it'll still send the report. Or I don't even want to say report, because the report's just lots of charts and charts and charts. But you know what I mean? Like something that's
Mm-hmm.
more meaningful, right? More like actual analysis instead of just charts and numbers, right?
Over. So, I mean, probably some conclusions from the numbers, not just a number, but something, you know, a step after that. Like,
but in order to be relevant, then SEMrush would have to collect what my goals are. Like if SEMrush doesn't know that my goal is to sell $3 million of chocolate this year, if I sold $2 million of chocolate last year and I sell $3 million in chocolate this year, like if you don't know that, how are you going to be able to? And if you don't know that my cost of chocolate, producing chocolate is $20 and I sell it for 70, and I'm trying to sell anything less than 50, I want to get more sales. Or like if you don't know what my metrics and what my business performance numbers are, you could have all the best SEO data, PPC analytics, you can have all the data in the world, but you have no way of really saying anything unless you know what, like, okay, I need to, this is how much I need, this is the conversion rate I need to have, this is, you know, I'm launching this new product next week. Like if you don't know this, you know, if you don't have that kind of context, and it's not like, it's not hard to be able to tell the system these things. We just have to have a simple way of entering these goals, like revenue, ROAS, you know, whatever it is, or benchmarking against, like you'd have to then pull in basically, you know, Google Analytics, or for the local clients we have, because we have a lot of real estate agents, mortgage brokers, lawyers. So they're all about ranking in Google Business Suite, right? Local 3-pack, this kind of stuff. So if you could make that easier for me, I know you have, like I talked to your guy who's the head of product for the agency reporting, which is nice.
Yeah, Sasha, Alexander.
Yeah, Sasha, it's a good start. But if you made that further, that would make it a lot easier, because we have a lot of young adults, and in a few days, we're launching our program with Jake Paul, where millions of these young adults can start their agencies doing social media and doing SEO. And then of course, these young adults are very good at doing social media, but they're not very good at the mechanics of sending out reports and having meetings. And like if you could help us on making it easy and sending out reports in their name, it would make a lot of people who are not sophisticated, who are not organized, it would make them look good, right? Because clients will leave if they, Ilya, I've not heard from you in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to cancel now, right?
Okay. Yeah, as far as I see, there's a major disconnect between the real business and the SEO. Like SEMrush focus so much on the organic search, right? And it's not like the only thing. Like you write that people care about the sales, not about the ranks on Google. Of course, it's connected, but it's not. There's so many other things.
Yeah.
I see. All right, Dennis, that's probably it for me. Do you have any questions to me?
Oh, this is good. Now, were you the host on that webinar where we talked about the whole like rebuild of the back end? No, you
Yeah,
weren't.
probably it was me. Probably.
Okay. What is your role again?
I'm the product owner of the team who is responsible for the links, for the backlinks.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Interesting.
Backlink
Yeah, well,
channel.
appreciate your time. And then anything hopefully that was helpful. Whatever you need,
Yeah,
let me know.
sure. Yeah, and also if you got any questions, just my email, just hit me with the questions. That would be easier, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do. Now that I got you. Do you want to, let's see, is this on my Zoom or your Zoom? It's on my Zoom.
It's on yours, yes.
Okay, so if you want the recording, I'll send it to you.
Oh yeah, please do that.
Yeah, okay. So this will end, and then the system takes like 5 minutes to process, and I'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much. That would be just awesome.